Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Prime Sports World. Today, we're doing something a little bit different than normal stuff that we do here at Prime Sports World. This is a YouTube exclusive episode, so this is a video that's only going to be appearing on YouTube. Again, this is Prime Sports World. I'm your host, David On Point. If you're looking for consistent content on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, also on the Twitch, Prime Sports World is a pretty good place to hang out. We go live about 5 or 6 times a week, bringing the most up-to-date content possible. And we are just only 20 days away now from the NFL draft. And while every also let me know what you guys think about this take though. So I'm doing a top 5 teams that need to nail 2022 NFL draft. And while every team needs to do a good job when it comes to the NFL draft, you need to get players that are going to be productive, and you need to get some gems in later rounds. There are certainly some teams when it comes to the NFL draft that need to do a better job than others. And I'm here to break down what I think those top 5 teams are. Let me know what you think about my teams. Also, if you think what you think about this new format, do you think we should do more stuff like this, or should we exclusively stick to just doing our long streaming podcast style episodes? I'm very much interested in seeing what the feedback is on this particular episode. So, without further ado, let's get into the list. The first team on the list is going to be the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, now that Devontae Adams has forced his way out of Green Bay after Robert Rodgers recommitted to the team, now the pressure's on to build a good product around him, or he's going to be requesting a trade next offseason. They have 2 first-round picks, and as TJ says all the time, if you do not hit on those first-round picks, they do not mean a whole lot. This roster has holes on it. You get wide receiver, they need cornerback help. They need edge rusher help. At Darius Smith left. So this is the Green Bay Packers team that really needs to nail this draft. You get it right, keep the championship window alive. Packers, you can make the argument the Packers could arguably be the number 1 team on this list, but I have them sitting here comfortably at number 5 because I think because they have the extra draft capital, they can afford to make extra swings and misses and make decisions along the lines there. And this is also a team that needs to build to the draft because they have very little cap space. So the Green Bay Packers are my number 5 when it comes to teams that need to nail this NFL draft. And then my team that comes in at number 4, it's the New Orleans Saints. So they have no cap space. That's why Armstead was able to walk right out that door. Same thing with Marcus Williams. The Saints have to build to the draft. They also need to have an answer who about going to be the quarterback of the future. I'm sorry, Saints fans, but it's not going to be Jameis Winston. This draft will go a long way in deciding the future of this franchise. The other thing is so they traded with Philadelphia here over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of days, really even. So now they have 2 first-round picks in this draft, over sacrificing draft capital next season to get more picks in this particular draft. So it makes me think that they're probably going to try to find the quarterback of the future. I wish them luck because I do not think the franchise quarterback is going to come out of this draft, but that's neither here nor there. It's up to them to try to figure out what they want to do with the quarterback position, what they want to do with their franchise. At number 3 is the Atlanta Falcons. Staying in the NFC South now, we got the Atlanta Falcons, who traded away their franchise quarterback and Matt Ryan without anyone obvious to step in that place. They need to pick a direction. Either you build a top flight defense or you continue to plug pieces in this offense, kind of like they did last season, but they cannot do both. It either has to be because you look at, AJ Terrell was a top corner according to PFF most recent season. So if they can continue to build that defense, continue putting good pieces on the defensive side of the ball, and kind of let their defense control their offense and kind of commit to the running game on the other side, let Marcus Mariota kind of run this offense. Or are you going to go quarterback in that top 10 pick? They have the 9th overall pick in this particular draft. They could go quarterback. They could take a Malik Willis. They could take a Kenny Pickett. I don't think Matt Corral is kind of way too early for him. But this is an Atlanta Falcons team that's made a decision. They need that Matt Ryan was no longer going to be part of this franchise. So now that Matt Ryan is no longer there, they have to go and find out what are we now? What are we going to be? And this draft will go a long way to making sure that they are pushing their team in the right direction. And they really need to nail this NFL draft. It's more important than almost any other team. So that's why I have them at number 3. Number 2 is the Houston Texans. Okay, so you traded Deshaun Watson away finally. Now with this is still one of the worst top to bottom rosters in the entire league. They need to find a new quarterback. Davis Mills is a nice player, but I don't think he's the quarterback of the future. Um, Maybe not in this draft, but they need to eventually find a franchise guy because this team has so many holes on the offensive line. Their defense is kind of atrocious. This draft will go a long way to setting the tone for what is going to be a lengthy rebuild there in Houston. Wish Love nothing but the best when it comes to that situation. But it is not a situation that I think is going to be solved by just a band-aid here. They need to nail this draft. They have 2 first-round picks in this draft. They pick at number 4. They also pick at number 15. So they need to make sure that they make these picks count. So they need to get franchise cornerstone pieces with both of these picks. Now that Deshaun Watson and that distraction that was Deshaun Watson is no longer in their building, and they can continue to move on to bigger and better things. The final team on my list is the Kansas City Chiefs. So the rest of your division has gotten better. While your big offseason move was to sign Justin Reed, who's a fine player, but probably a downgrade over Matthew. And then to trade one of the elements of your offense that virtually no one has when you traded Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. You have 2 first-round picks. So if you want to stay at the top of your division, not even talking about the conference, you need to nail these draft picks. The pressure is certainly on when it comes to adding another wide receiver. They could potentially look to flip maybe one of these picks if maybe added K Metcalf to this mix or a Brandon Cooks, which give your offense a little bit of more dynamic. Losing out on that Tyreek Hill element is a big deal. And not to mention that this is a team that has tons of money locked up into other players, into other scenarios that they need to nail this draft because they don't have cap space in the future. Eventually, this roster are already getting expensive. The reason that Tyreek Hill is no longer on this team is they couldn't really afford to pay him what he felt like he was worth, which is now he's the highest paid wide receiver in the National Football League. With these 2 first-round picks, you look for them to go wide receiver. They still need to build up this offensive line. They need to still need pass build up the secondary after Sedarius Ward left them in free agency as well. Kansas City is under a lot of pressure to nail this draft and to get it right. So let's recap here. My top 5 teams that I think really need to nail this NFL draft are the Green Bay Packers, based on Devontae Adams leaving, New Orleans Saints, based on their cap situation, plus uncertainty at the quarterback position, the Atlanta Falcons taking a direction, Houston Texans nailing the start of a lengthy rebuild, Kansas City. In order for you to stay at the top of your division and the top of the conference, you need to be able to build through the draft because you're not going to have the cap space to sign free agency, as we've already seen as we go through this. But yeah, that's been my list of the top 5 teams that I think need to nail the 2022 NFL draft. Let me know down in the comments section what do you think of my list, and which teams do you think really needs to nail this NFL draft process when it comes to 2022? As the pressure is certainly on for teams that want to go to the Super Bowl. I've of course been your host, David On Point. Look for me. Look for consistent content on Facebook. Prime Sports World is a good place to hang out. I'm putting this website on just on YouTube. This is our very first YouTube exclusive episode. So please let me know what you guys think of the show. What do you guys think of this format? I'm hoping to do more straight scripted stuff like this. So a little bit shorter, little 10-minute videos that you guys can kind of consume in small doses. That's just a top 5 countdown of something that I think is fun to talk about. Um, Let me know. I've been David On Point, and keep checking me out at PSW_David. Also, my all the places that we post stuff. I've been David Huffman. Thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully you guys enjoy the new content. Please let me know down in the comments section. Have a good day.